Welcome to the 8 Minutes of College podcast. I am your host, Renee Bailey, your holistic college coach, and today we are going to be talking about 3 specific mistakes that I made while I was in college that I think every student should know about because it will improve their college experience if they avoid these mistakes. The first mistake that I made was really not choosing a major that was based on what I wanted to do, but rather based on what I thought I had to do. Now, I chose biochemistry as my major, and I secondarily chose English as a second degree path. I was really more wedded to my creative side. I love art. I love dancing. I was a gymnast. I love writing. But I was always told, it was always ingrained in me that would never get me anywhere monetarily, and I had to be able to support myself. So in lieu of doing that, the more obvious thing was to become a doctor, become a physician. And because of that, I chose biochemistry. And then I married that to the English because I thought, well, you can be creative on your off time, which is what I was always told. However, that is simply not true. If you are really not involved with or loving your main course of study, it is not going to get any easier to live with after you graduate. Now, don't get me wrong, I love science. Science thrills me, teaches me, shows me things, gave me the ability to critically think. So studying science gave me all of this. But in addition to that, I really should have allowed my creative side, my inner desire, the things that I loved most, to show and come about as part of my education. And therefore, I think I would have chosen a different major. I would have chosen a different major had I had another chance at it again. So that's my first mistake. My second mistake, I feel like, was not really giving myself a break. For me, I was so involved in the studying. I was so involved in have to finish college. In 4 years, that's all you get. You got to do it. You got to get out. You got to get in. You got to get out, and you got to move on. And that was extremely tough on me particularly because I had 2 degrees that I was working towards at the same time. But also because I had to work. And one of the things that I think a lot of people, administrators, teachers, professors, they don't realize is how difficult their students' lives are, especially if they're first generation student, especially if they're low income student, when it comes to having to work, having to balance family, social life, and all the classes that they need to take. Now, in my case, I made it harder on myself by getting 2 degrees at that same time. And in doing so, I had semesters where I was taking 21 units. I had to actually get special dispensation from the college to be able to take 21 units, which is over the cap. I also, let's say, my one summer, there was a summer where I was working at the library, I was working at a research lab, and I was taking 6 units at the community college, and another 6 units at the university. That was more than enough to keep me busy, for sure. So I had no time to let my body, my mind, my soul recharge, and that is another mistake that I would definitely not make if I were going back to college these days. The third was becoming involved in clubs where I felt like I should be a part of the club, but I really didn't bring, and I wanted to. I had a desire to be a part of the club. I wanted to be really, really involved, but not being able to be involved because of the fact that I was so busy studying. I should have balanced my life more. And I guess that's the real lesson here in that terms of that. Balancing my life more, being around my friends more, being more relaxed about everything in life during that period of time would have made my life a whole lot more easy. So, 3 mistakes that I made that I don't want you to make, and I really want you to take this away. First of all, not choosing a major I was absolutely 100% in love with. Number 2, overworking myself and not balancing. Those three things, not choosing a major I loved, overworking myself, putting too much academic stress on myself, and then 3, not balancing everything that I wanted to do socially. That really in some ways killed my college experience for me. And I don't want you to have to go through that. You don't have to go through that to get your degree. You don't have to push. You don't have to do the 21 hours in a semester. You don't have to overload yourself. You don't have to stick to the books. You don't have to choose an area of expertise to study in that you don't really have as much love for as another, just because somebody's telling you, just because this is what you've been told is the right thing to do. Guys, you can do this and be so much happier if you follow those, if you don't fall into the trap of getting into those mistakes. So, there's your 8 minutes of college this week, telling you the 3 mistakes that I made that I don't want you to make. Love you guys, and we'll talk later.